Welcome aboard, all you wonderful groomers, pet stylists, and canine cosmetologists. You found the Traveling Groomers Podcast, where we discuss lessons learned from mobile and house call grooming. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bear Anthony. Any moment now, we'll be joined by my co-host and friend, retired mobile groomer and educator extraordinaire, Mary Oquendo, and very likely a special guest to help us chat about all things grooming, grooming industry related, and just plain fun digressions that I will totally wrangle back to topic. Grab those travel mugs and climb aboard to see where today's topic will bring us. Let's roll! Hello, Mary.
Hello, Chris.
Wait, let me get started right away. Before we even introduce our fabulous special guest, who in my head I always think of with all three of your names, by the way. All three, you're a full all three name person. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 266, recorded on June 19th. Happy Juneteenth. Will be airing July 3rd. Happy 4th of July. All the independents, all in one episode. Woohoo.
Okay, before we get started, I do want to tell Loren that I admire her greatly.
Thank you.
And the reason I do is because you set a goal for yourself and you made it happen. And it wasn't easy, was it?
No.
It was not, right?
No.
But you know what? On the surface, it looks like, wow, she's doing really good. It must be so easy. Who do you know? And I've been watching Loren for a while, and you know what? I've been seeing the things you're doing, and I know there's work that was involved with that.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's so kind of you, Mary. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I really want to see everybody succeed.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you're doing social media, correct? Among other things.
Yes.
And we want to hear all about them.
Okay.
But you know what? There's so many different styles of things. There's room for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
And I do have a quick question before we get started. It's a combination question and confession, because I already said that I think of you with all three names, but I'm positive I'm saying your last name wrong in my head.
Okay.
So say your last name for me.
Mosquito.
Oh, I am saying it right.
Yeah, mosquito. So like a smoky female mosquito, just the at the end, mosquito. Like you're taking it, when you take a sip of your drink and you're like,
mosquito. My God, you don't know what a rarity is that I'm pronouncing a name correctly.
Well, I appreciate you asking. I honestly, I don't mind. I mean, it gets butchered or it doesn't. And then sometimes, I enjoy the fact of people just putting their own spin on things. As long as I know that you're talking to me, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. So, but thank you for asking.
No problem. I have a really simple last name, so I usually don't get it butchered.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's also a first name.
Okay.
So my husband, whose first name is Cameron, people will flip it.
Okay.
And because they're not used to the name Cameron.
Right.
Heads, veins throb. It's although it was great when someone asked me what my last name was, and I said Anthony, and they go, no, your last name. And I went, do I sound like an Anthony to you?
What you talking about here?
I mean, kind of, a little, but
yeah.
But like, also no.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, but thanks for asking.
With Oquendo, I get the how do you pronounce it, and then
right.
Oquendo, it'll be just like it's spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like it's spelled. Yeah.
By the way, for those of you watching earlier, I was not doing the face palm for anything y'all were saying.
Uh-huh.
My dog, I was throwing something, and if you also heard the thump, that
Uh-huh.
was his head hitting the side of his
Oh, poor
desk
thing.
as he whipped
Aw.
around to try to catch the thing. He's,
Bless
it's
him.
there's only so much in there, and it's all
Yeah.
like poodle stuff and fur. He's fine.
Thank God for the thick poodle skull.
Right? Oh,
Yes.
thick skull. I just want to clarify, I'm not face
Yeah.
palming rudely at the
All right, so my
wonderful. There's this
question
wonderful
is-
conversation going on about sticking to your goals, and it was all like empowering, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my dog's
Stud.
All right, so which dog has the thicker skull? The poodle or the lab?
Oh.
And if I've asked this because I've been head-butted by both of them.
I would think
I would think
I've been
the
headbutted once
lab.
by a shepherd. That hurt.
I
Like
was
face.
headbutted by a basset.
Oh, yeah. Imagine getting whipped with those ears too.
Oh yeah, no, this was all
Ah.
skull right in the nose. I'm shocked the nose didn't break.
Oh, wow.
It was stars and just blood, just a poof.
Oh,
It was fun.
yeah.
no.
That would suck. I don't know. I would think that a lab has a thicker skull.
Oh, yeah, no.
I would also vote for
Yeah.
lab. I would vote for
Yeah,
lab.
labs have a
Lab
thicker
heads are
skull.
made out of cinder block.
Yeah.
Thick
True.
cinder block with not much room for thought.
No.
No. It's like
besides-
all bone. That's it.
Yeah.
No
Bone. I mean,
Little
no,
tiny brain.
they're good dogs.
Yes.
They're good dogs. They're
Mhm.
just not the brightest.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things you're doing, Lauren.
Cool. What do you want to know?
Okay,
Doing
let's
everything.
Introduce yourself in general first. So we
Okay.
we take a commercial break every about 10 minutes. So we'll do a nice
Okay,
intro
sounds
and then
cool.
we'll take a 30-second break.
So Loren Mosquita, I started doing more social media on a starting at trying to be more professional in September of last year, and then just kind of fell in love. I fell in love with doing like stupid videos like on TikTok, anything that resonated with me, and just trying to create my own thing, and just kind of going from there, learning more about editing, learning about like this and a song or whatever works, and different ideas. Really enjoying the idea of creating a reel. Like, I think I'm really fast at it. And then it turned into networking and putting myself out there more often, because I was already going to most of the shows anyway, because I was competing in dog grooming competitions. And then it just kind of led into an opportunity to where I am now, that I don't necessarily want to groom physically as much. And I appreciate all my clients where I am now. But I like the idea of still going to shows. I love talking to people. I love interacting. But the idea of the competing, there's not that part to where someone's not necessarily documenting that opportunity of what they could use for their own branding, or what they can use to say that they are being sponsored by a specific company, and a tool that they're using while they're competing, or a reel that they could have made, or the documentation of just them competing. There's an opportunity for that, so that one, it could be an income for me, but at the same time, this could be a possibility for them and their marketing, whether if they pay me or if they pay somebody else to do it. I can document with raw footage. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Ren or Evan or anything like that. They are staples in the community. They are huge people that when they're in the ring, I stop. Like, I stop out of respect. And it started from when I was documenting and getting this footage for doing Groom Team social media. Then it just led into this. And now it's like, I get to really get to know some of these people, and getting to know them at their most, I want to say, insecure or heatest moments, especially open level competitors that are the top in the world, and seeing that transition from even where my growth was from, just say, the beginning of the year to now. So that's just the social media part. And I love it. I love the creation. As far as the organizing, or this, that, I can stick to I can stick to a structure, I can stick to a schedule, and I can say this is what I want. But as far as the creative control, I love that. I love the opportunity of me being able to create something, and then I give it to someone. I'm like, what are your edits? What's this? Here's your caption, here's this, and the different tools that I can do, because everything that I'm doing mostly everything on my phone. Everything on my phone. So knowing that I can have this tiny little computer plus text plus do this, everything's instant. Everything's so instant, and I love it. And I love how because that's what everybody wants. They want it fast. They want this. You want to look something up. You want to do this. Okay, let me do this and put it in my Google Drive. All right, let me give this and then send this out. I've learned so much, and I'm still learning. And then I started learning Canva, and I was like, holy crap, what the hell is this? This is a monster. And now I'm like, oh my God, I love Canva. This is the best. So
I
I'm
am
learning.
only scratching the surface of Canva.
Well, let me
It's
tell you,
Keep scratching, but
Canva-
that's just the beginning part of it. And knowing that there's an opportunity for me to do that with my business license as a social media, not necessarily always managing, but I could create the content. I can create the content and make that available for somebody else to use in their marketing that doesn't have the time to do it, or doesn't know how, or is intimidated by it, or the coaching or the things that are behind it. Cause I like the idea of seeing people grow and do it. So then also in that, working with, like Companion Animal Network, doing things as far as learning about blogs, learning things as far as the networking and putting yourself out there. Then I have always been a fan of Colin. I've always loved all of his stuff. And then when it came to his Colin Taylor products, the only way that I was able to get it was going to his shows. And then I fell in love with the brush. And then when he came to Hershey, and Hershey's always a big show, and then he had his booth, and then I was just recording content, doing whatever. And I kept on saying, we need to get it to the USA. We need to get it to the USA. And then finally he just said, take home whatever's left over, do this, we'll work something out. And then I was, working with Companion Animal Network to put him on the Companion Animal Network. And it would only cost him this much per month. I'm doing the content, I'm doing this, whatever, to push and promote it. So you have two different brands to start to promote it, and then just go from there. And then I have the product, they're purchasing off of this website, and then I'm also then the distributor. So then I'm learning about the packaging, I'm learning like packaging it together and putting the product in there, and then adding little notes and little stickers and that part, and the distribution part of it, and then learning about the sales and marketing. And then it just grew into, from this tiny brush that I loved from one of his first brush models that he had. And I'd always go back to it, always go back to it. And I kept asking, who's the manufacturer? Let me just buy this brush. And then it led into, well, you can have the brush, and why don't we just name it after you? And I just got excited. And then it led into, well, why don't we create a brand together that's not Colin Taylor, so I can keep it in the UK, but let's create something that could be you and I, and Coleman together. And I said, okay. And then we're thinking of names and brainstorming. And then it came into, all right, so we're going to have this brand, and then we're going to have all these tools, and then we're going to do it just with this. And then I started doing the marketing once we created a name. And then we're creating a name, and we got the logo, and we did this. And then we were like, well, what if it had a tail at the end? And what if it had a pair of scissors? So it could still look like the Colin Taylor emblem, but it's it's in the United States. But he wants, we both want, but the idea was to have fame global, to go all over. That's the goal, for it to be available to everyone in the world, and UK have Colin Taylor products. So we're doing that and all these ideas. And then as I'm practicing with social media and using CapCut and different templates and different things to put the logo in it and just screenshotting to it, and then it just developed, and it just grew, because I'm starting to market fame of what we're going to do and what we're going to release. And we don't even have product. So I'm just releasing all of this stuff, and we're testing some of the products, and he's telling me about some of the products, and he's sending me shears and doing this, and I'm testing some of this, and then we're testing this, but the logo needs to look like, so it's just all of this stuff. And then it went from, okay, here's a name, to here's a couple things, but it started with the brush that I loved, that I wanted to name, and then it just blew up. And then it was like, okay, well, we're going to do this at the Tacoma show. We're going to do this. We're going to debut. And it just kept going. And then it just went from there. And now with the different marketing and trying to do, separate things and what works for us and what's not working for us, and then learning how to say no and boundaries. Most of the stuff, I mean, of course, Colin's name is huge and I appreciate the opportunities, but most of the stuff, reaching out to build a website, doing the distribution, carrying the rest of the product, keeping track of it, the marketing and us creating Instagram, the Facebook and all of that stuff I've created. And I'm not saying that it's not with him. His name is huge. And I am grateful for the opportunity. And I am so blessed knowing that he trusts me and all of that. Because of course, if he doesn't agree, or if there's something that doesn't work and we talk about it, okay, cool, we move on. Or if there is a mistake or if something happens, then we work with it. He allows me that creative freedom. And again, I enjoy the creative freedom. If there are boundaries, then we work on it. I can take direction very well. If it doesn't work, then let's go with this, or we make a compromise. And then all of this, and we've still yet to have, I mean, the website's coming. The website is coming. But knowing that we don't even have a website, and I've sold so much product already just by me doing social media, and I'm just going nuts with it because it's like, okay, cool. Then we have things. What about this? Let's do it live. So
Lauren,
yeah.
For 1 second.
We need to
Sorry.
take our
We need
first
to get a commercial
break.
in.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Handvee engineering isn't just for mobile groomers. I have loved my Handvee equipment for years before I even thought of getting a mobile van, and I wouldn't want to groom without my Bathing Beauty and hair vac. With every piece of equipment in their van and outside of it having its own QR code linked to troubleshooting, tips, and fixes, these low-maintenance workhorses turn potential roadblocks into mere speed bumps. Check them out yourself at handvee.com. Okay.
Do we break your rhythm?
I know, not at all. No, but again, I can take direction.
Okay, that was a whole lot. Let's back up.
It is a lot, but you said to keep going. So my ADHD.
I know. It's fantastic. I'm taking notes. It's like, okay, so what can I ask questions about to hear?
You can ask whatever you want. Just stop me. Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's where I am, exhausted, creating out things and trying not to and then I'm driving to Pet Quest tomorrow. And then I'm flying to England on Tuesday. And yeah.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm not going to use the word jealous, because you worked really hard for this business opportunity. So it's not, and I'm broke like that. I admire that, because that is a personal goal of mine to
go to England,
specifically go overseas, grooming related. Like I want work to pay for me traveling overseas.
Yeah. I mean, the conference, Colin has a conference, which we have in September, and I'm speaking there. Like, go.
Okay. So then you actually need to put a word in for both of us.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, it's an all-day seminar, and they'll have speakers. It's really cool because he'll have like the whole production crew, like the screens and all that stuff. But he has 3 speakers, kind of like a panel, all going on at the same time. So it might be pet grooming. So one will have a cockapoo, one will have a Bichon, one will have a poodle, and then all of them are doing 3 different grooms and just talking. And then it's filled in an audience, and then there's just questions, and then they have an MC, and then so that's really cool how they kind of intermingle. So it's not just one person at one time. You're getting an all-day class with 3 different people for hours at a time with a lunch.
So is it
and
more
then
like
again,
it's more like it's not the typical seminar setting that we're used to, where it's a class about this. It's 3 groomers doing their thing, fielding questions.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool, because when you're doing a demo, it is so hard to groom and talk at the same time, and to groom and explain what you're doing with every step of the way. And I love doing demos, but there's this fear of what's going to happen when I just shut up and I think I'm talking, because my head's still going and I'm just grooming. I'm like, oh shoot, I got to provide content, and this is what I'm doing here, and this muscle, and it's a lot. So it
was intimidating when I first did it, but there's so much going on with the distraction that it actually becomes almost, for me, because it was my first time and I was so scared and all this, it was overstimulating for me. And I was just saying, just groom the dog, just groom
Yeah.
the dog. And when they ask a question, talk. And then when it's done or something else, then it's not me anymore. I just keep grooming the dog and making sure you're not in front of the camera, and try to be really, just like talking to you guys, just talking in general. So that I really enjoy about that conference. So this one, I should be just talking about hand stripping, maybe like the beginning of hand stripping, or just social media, because Marcia is coming too. Marcia, she was invited to speak as
awesome.
well. So he's going to have us both on there. So I don't know if we're just I don't know what we're going to do. We'll figure it out.
Right, because like
So.
you can't exactly
I don't know. I don't
groom
know.
and-
I don't know
guess
whether
you
if it,
could groom and talk about social media. It's not
well,
just connected.
grooming, but in an idea of what I thought was, if it is social media, maybe some tips and tricks on how to record a short 30-second reel in your own salon, and how would you do that,
Right.
and how would it look, and sharing a screen from your phone to the monitor, to like the projection
Right.
screen. So someone has a shared screen and someone does it, and I could just say, this angle looks like this after you record it, zooming in, zooming out, doing stuff like that. That's just a theory that I have that maybe could work, or how to create a simple TikTok, stuff like that. So,
Well, I think that's kind of needed, because the reason I keep hiring out for my reels is because the ones I do suck. But there is a skill to it. Just like anything else, you know what? And you know what? Nobody has to be good at everything, Chris. Some of
No.
us like
It's so hard. But you want. Listen, this is one of the things that made me go, oh shit, maybe I am ADHD, because I know I have, and this was a while ago, but I might still have the article somewhere. I have too many projects. I have no time for things. Yet, here's an article on how to start backyard beekeeping. Ooh, I should save this for later, because this seems really neat. This is important. This is
a must read.
Right? This is important.
You see, Loren, Chris thinks for some reason that there's going to come a day and I'm not going to retire, because I keep talking about there's going to be a day that I'm going to call it quits. Totally. 100% quits.
No, I actually am starting to see it now. I'm starting to see it now. I'm now, I believe.
Is there a bet?
Now that
What are
you
the odds?
found a really all-encompassing hobby, and you have a greenhouse, so it's not like it's gardening, but you have a couple months off during the winter, so you can't fully, retire, because now full-time greenhouse, all the growing things all the time.
There you go.
Yeah. So just note to self. So I deadheaded. I spent my entire morning was working in my garden.
Oh, wait.
Outside garden.
Wait.
Yes,
that's beautiful.
Wait, just stop right there. I'm gonna just take another commercial to get us back on track. And then we're gonna have a conversation. And I have a feeling Lauren's gonna be on my side on this, because I was shocked, I tell you. Okay, you know I love my Evolution swivel shears, and you even know that these customizable shears come in non-swivel as well. But did you know that they're the only ones I've been trusting my sharpening with for around 15 years, and that's how we met? What? You haven't tried their sharpening yet? If so, send in your next batch of sharpening and you'll get one shear sharpened for free with a $75 order, just for telling them where you heard about them. Your shears and blades will thank you. Okay, so this is our first official digression of the day.
Okay.
So she's telling me this earlier, right? And I said, Mary, you're obligated to listen to at least one Grateful Dead song while you deadhead in your garden, right?
Okay.
And she said,
I was never a huge fan of the Grateful Dead. I mean, come on. I mean, there's a couple of songs I like.
There's gotta be, there's at least, 'cause just listen to the American Beauty album, and if there's not at least
Right.
one song on the American Beauty album that you're like, I really dig that,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you need to heal something in you.
But, but basically what I got out of my deadheading session today is that when it comes time to replace the perennials that I bought, I'm going with less flower heads.
Really?
Oh. Oh.
Listen, do you know how many containers I have in my front yard on my moat?
No, I'm guessing a lot.
A lot.
But if you go with more flower heads, but things that are, watch, I add another hobby, I go, phew. But
Yeah.
things that are medicinal, or you
Oh.
can make teas out
Yeah.
of, then all
Yeah.
that deadheading is.
I'm gonna mess with Chris right now again. Here's the thing, Chris. I'm also not a huge fan of herbal teas.
I didn't say, and I know this, so you're not messing with me. I didn't say you had to be a fan of herbal teas. I said medicinal. So you can always add some of this to your black tea leaves and infuse it with good properties.
Okay.
Hmm. Do you have a name for your greenhouse?
No, and I do need one.
Yeah. Would it go off? Would you use your first name? Would you just create something different?
I don't know. I don't know.
The Grateful Bed.
She wouldn't. She wouldn't.
I'll think of something. I'll think of something else.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Grateful Bed.
Now we have to have an online contest
Yeah, there you
to
go.
name Mary's greenhouse.
So when you're doing this, are you jamming to specific music? Like, are you wearing like headphones or anything?
No, I was listening to an audiobook.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
That also sounds about right. That also sounds about right.
Especially since I have 24 credits a year with Audible. So I can listen. Oh yeah. I love
that's cool.
Oh, I can.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I can go through like 2 books a week. So I go through those credits pretty quickly. Anyway, okay. Topic.
Grateful Bed.
Tell me a little bit about the Companion Animal Network and the stuff you're doing there, and we will get back to the stuff you're doing with Colin. I swear and I promise. Promise.
Oh, that's cool. Companion Animal Network is a great network for people to create stuff for themselves. Like, it's kind of like a giant mecca of, if you want to learn about hamsters and write about it and feel super passionate, there's that opportunity. It's kind of like a giant library in the sense of, in the goal to be a giant like source for anything and everything that's pet related. So if it's dog trainers, if it's dog groomers, if it's rabbit groomers, anything, that it could be a platform for them to use to create blogs, to create content, and now work there. Also, like when I brought Colin over with the Colin Taylor, it was a way for him to have not necessarily his website there, but the website hosted his products. Even though I had the products and I was distributing them, this is a way for people in the US to purchase a few products, click order, and then go from there. So it's a good stepping stone. It's a good stepping stone in that direction as they're growing and figuring out where they're, this and networking and getting people to join the program and the network. It's a good opportunity for people that want to find a place, a nice home to start doing stuff. Yeah.
So is it more of a, because I have not gone on it at all, sadly. I'm going to.
That's okay. Yeah.
Maybe the second. So is it something that it's more like blogs? Is it a little more social media? Is it some of everything?
It's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything. And they really want to get people on there that are passionate about what they do, passionate about the community, and passionate about pets to go from there. So whether if it's a hosting site to eventually having a podcast, or if it is creating blogs, or, whatever, it's a great giant information tool source that people can use and pay so much per month to be able to have access to all of this information. Pet safety courses, again, fish, whatever, vets, dog trainers, all of that stuff as a giant source for people to come in and learn about these types of things.
I don't know, Mary, does it seem like the traveling groomers and positive educational training needs to be up here?
Possibly, maybe we get, what's her name?
Jessica?
Thank you.
Yeah, Jessica and Chris, yeah, definitely reach out to them if you're interested in.
Oh, we should get them up on the podcast.
Yeah. That they would love that. They would honestly love that. They're so passionate about their website. They're so passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah, 'cause,
And
I
they're
mean,
great people.
It seems like a super good resource that now I'm looking at
Absolutely.
and I'm like, how have I not been living here? I don't
Yeah.
understand. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. It's a
awesome.
great resource. They definitely put a lot of work into it, and they definitely love and want to collaborate with everyone. And I mean everyone. They don't want to turn anyone away. They don't want to make people feel or act in a certain kind of way. They just do it for the love of the community, for the love of just continued education and being passionate about animals themselves. So great. I would definitely highly recommend you guys interview them, check them out. Yeah.
There is no one in my state. Now I need to get on there. Search for a pet professional in New Jersey. There is no one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's sad.
Chris,
Yes.
contact them and we'll get them up on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And I'm gonna just say, this is what I mean by networking within the industry.
Yeah.
And bringing up other people and what other people are doing. It does not take away
Nope.
anything from what you're doing to
Mhm.
promote and say something nice about somebody else.
Not at all. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long, and it's not that hard to try to promote it. And again, I do believe that if it resonates with you, if it makes you happy, that this is the direction that you should go. Or at least if there's nothing good to say, then don't say anything at all. So yeah, no, I can't.
I'm a big proponent of that. Like,
Yeah.
that Thumper's mom just hit me really hard with that when I was a
Mhm.
kid. And the only time I will go against that is if somebody really deserves it.
Sure.
Which is rare, which is
Mhm.
rare, because even when they do, I'm halfway between this thing we're doing right now is just three people talking and
Right.
recognizing that other people listen to it. So there's a difference
Mhm.
on what I say here versus buy me a drink at a trade show and I might tell you
Sure.
how I really feel about
Right. Right.
something. But
Yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely many hats, just like if you're a boss or well, we're all business owners. There's many hats that you're going to have to wear. There's many hats that you not necessarily have to be accommodating or whatever, but there's different senses of when is the time to turn this on, when is the time to turn that off. So yeah, I agree. I mean, behind and what could be said in privacy or after a couple drinks, that's a little different. But at the same time, we're all here for the same thing, wanting to better ourselves,
Absolutely.
wanting a better community, wanting network and opportunity. And if it's someone that can't, then if it doesn't agree with you, if it doesn't resonate, then you grow through that and you move forward, and hopefully not burning those bridges, because you never know when something may need to happen in the future or to collaborate or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
What's the saying? Be careful of who you step on the
Mhm.
way up, because you're going to meet them on the way down. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
never, no one, we all like to think we're just going to be the tops forever. We're going to get there. And it never happens. I mean,
Right.
unless you just legit retire or die at the top of your field. And even then, someone
Yeah,
else is going to take your place. So it's
it
just
is.
kind of be nice to people.
Absolutely. I mean,
That's it, Paul.
I kind of see that too as I've started working more closer with the Groom Team USA. I see that in some of these competitors, and it's like, what is next, or what else do you have? Not in a sense of like you have nothing, just what is that next step? What is that next step, and where are you going to go? And that always in my head just is a question for me to I would love to sit down and just do that, not to instigate or trigger um insecurities like you're not good enough. You're obviously more than good enough. um but just to say, like, what is behind it besides just this jacket that you've clearly earned, that this is amazing, but what is next? What is your
And
next step, and where do you plan on going?
said something interesting when you were talking in the beginning about seeing these competitors at a different place, because so many
Completely different.
people who just go to the trade shows and they watch the
Hmm.
competitions and they see the social media and they see the pretty grooms and they
Yep.
see the social media version and they see the good and
Right.
they just go, wow, these are just amazing talented groomers. They're just effortlessly perfect at everything they do,
Right.
and they don't fully recognize that they're people. Like, we have a lot of
Hmm.
hero worship in this industry,
Hmm.
and it's
Yes.
hard to recognize we're just people. We have
Yeah.
all scrubbed poop off
Yep.
a off an
Yep.
anus with the fingernail. We've all done it,
Yeah. Hmm.
and we all have insecurities, and that's normal, and that's
Hmm.
okay. And
It
it's
humanizes them. It humanizes them in a way. And that's why I like to see it, because again, some of these pedestals that we don't necessarily mean to put them on in our head, because then the minute that something bad happens, the minute that it's something wrong, that that is, oh my goodness, when they're just as human as us.
yeah.
So if anything, the fact that they're even more under the microscope, more under pressure, the expectations, even just with me calling another person and I said, hey, I'm bringing some product, but I need you to buy it. Since you ordered it, I need you to buy it now before I bring it so I can save on shipping. But I had asked them, I was like, hey, can you help me out with some content, whatever.
Mhm.
I gave you some product at Tacoma. The fact that they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm going through all this stuff, I don't want you to think that I just want this product for free, and da 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 da. And I just,
Sometimes we
look,
just need
I want it.
reminders.
It is, but at the same time, I said I want it organically. I want it authentic, and I want it to be true to what you can do and what's going to resonate and be happy with you. If I need red alert right now, I'll let you know. I need something right now, and I need to push my social media, and I need to tag you, or I need to invite you as a collaborator on this Instagram post so that I can get as many views from your, followers. To do that. I said, but for right now, it's fine. Also, I appreciate your paranoia, and thank you. And I am recognizing that. But they chuckled, but I said, no, I appreciate that, because that allows me to know that if you're so paranoid about what I'm thinking, or you're so pressured about that, or the pressure of like this and that of an expectation, then I don't want you to create something out of fear. I want you to create something out of love. I want you to create something because you love the product, or you love me, or you like what I do, or I made you laugh, or whatever. Like, I'd rather have that versus, oh my God, this and that. I don't ever want to do that. That isn't something that's going to work. Unless, again, mayday, red alert, I need something now. But that's a completely different thing. So, yeah. I appreciate the paranoia when it comes to certain things, because again, that resonates with all of us, in our insecurities, like when we first started, grooming, when we first started doing socials, when we make that reel that we want to do.
And
It's
you know what? Shout out to everybody who does the socials and does all the instas and the reels and stuff, because every so often, and Mary, it's usually when we have a guest like Loren on and they're really into that, I'm like, I gotta do this and I gotta get into that, and then I try. And I remember I was born in the 1900s, And
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
and I forget,
Listen,
and I don't have time
Yeah.
for that stuff. Or I do a before and not an after, or I do an after and not a before, or I do half a during and it
Yeah.
stinks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, listen, the first time I heard someone say being born in the 1900s, I'm just going to admit to being really triggered over that, Chris.
oh, before we take, actually, no, I got to take a quick commercial break because I have a story about the best thing I heard all week about what someone called a senior discount.
Oh.
So wait,
Okay.
I got it because I wanted to tell you all this anyway, because to me it's the funniest fucking thing ever. Right back. I love being a house call groomer, but I hate doing laundry or worrying about asking my clients for fresh towels. Raypet has solved those problems for me with the Wet Pet disposable towel. Taking up much less space than traditional cotton towels and easy to wring out and reuse, these super soft, comfy, absorbent towels eliminate any cross-contamination concerns between pets, and now their new smaller washcloth size can even help those sensitive eye areas. Great for cleaning out wrinkles gently and thoroughly. Need to keep water bowls for your clients on hand that are easy to disinfect, but hate all the room traditional clanky metal bowls take up? Or just have a very active pet? Their collapsible silicone bowl comes with an aluminum D-ring hook that can be attached to your pet's leash or anywhere else in your van for easy storage. You can get one by itself or in their handy travel kit, along with a set of 3 tick removers and 1 small wet pet towel. So stop by their website to check it out, raypet.net, and tell them the Traveling Groomers sent you. Okay, so this involves my mother getting a specific discount. So this week, because I had an appointment with my mother at the pain doctor, because she's got a bad knee and 2 bad feet, and we want to look at alternate methods. It took many conversations, 2 to 3 different doctors, and me telling her to do it. But I took my mom to a dispensary on Monday to get her some happy gummies.
Yay.
And the lovely woman that helped us out said, I gave you your wisdom discount.
I love that, actually.
Mary, now, would you, what would tick you off more? If somebody just assumed and went, oh, I'm going to give you your senior discount, or someone went, I gave you your wisdom discount?
I think the wisdom discount would piss me off a little bit more because it sounds condescending.
Now, the person did see your ID, so they know exactly now how old you are. I don't know. I thought wisdom discount was
Just
cute.
give me the senior discount. I am fine with that. I will insist on it if you don't think, yeah.
So basically,
Give me
Mary,
my
what you
off.
just said and admitted to on air
Yes.
is you have learned jack and or shit. You're all the years you've been. You do not have a wisdom discount. You do not wise. You didn't learn shit.
No, I just don't want to call it a wisdom discount.
That's funny.
I think we can come up with other terms other than that.
See, and I prefer wisdom to senior, because if someone looked at my ID and went, oh, I'm going to give you your senior discount, I would be like, I'll pay full price, motherfucker. Like, I am not.
No. The second somebody wanted to give me a senior discount, I was all over it.
Yeah, that's where my cheap and my pride go at war with each other. Absolutely.
Oh no. I'm fine with someone knocking a couple bucks off because they think I'm old. I'm fine with that.
But okay, so but you're.
No, I will say the first time someone ma'amed me. Now I was like, I don't know, in my 30s.
Oh.
The first time someone ma'amed me, I wanted to reach over the counter and beat the crap out of them.
But in some parts of the country, if you look over 21 and you've
No,
got a
no,
man.
no. I'm so sorry. Not in New York or Connecticut.
Well, no.
Is that? I'm so sorry. No.
Well, maybe they were a
That's funny.
transplant. Maybe they were originally from somewhere else.
No, it was just a young kid who looked like I was double his age, which I probably was. When you're 16, a lot of people are double, triple, and quadruple your age. Okay. And I got mammed. That was annoying.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyway, topic, back to topic. So, what different products are you working on with Colin Taylor? Like, I know he's got his line of stuff, and I'm glad
Right.
that you brought it to places and can distribute it in the US, because I've tried ordering stuff from him before and it's a little difficult outside of a show. No fault of his, just there's not a
Right.
whole system. It's literally him popping it in the post.
Right. So are you talking as far as our brand that we have together or
Yes.
his brand? Okay.
Your brand.
So
Yeah, what do
our
you have
brand,
together?
so together we have soft slicker brushes, a variety of combs, some hand stripping tools. We have quite a few different hand stripping tools and what else? A soft slicker
Now the
tools.
hand
Oh, and
stripping
shears
tool.
and shears.
Now the hand stripping tool, I think I
Mhm.
glimpsed that at the Northwest show. Is that
Mhm.
kind of, I don't know how to describe it.
It's like
flat.
liquid sandpaper. It's like there's a piece and then you put it and you did how I describe it, like a liquid sandpaper, and then it has a rubbery handle.
Yeah, like a rubbery. That looks
Mhm.
really similar to something one of my clients bought, but she's from Australia, so I think she got it overseas too. So I haven't seen
Probably.
it elsewhere. So I was
Probably.
very intrigued by that. That looked pretty cool.
So that line, we were able to get a decent amount of that product for a pretty good price. So the profit on that is good, but also learning about it and working with it. Now, there's a decent amount of people that have purchased it that I'm waiting for feedback on. But me, for someone who's been hand stripping for almost 8 years now, it's something that is pretty harsh on coats. So unless it was a blown coat, knowing that
Okay.
you're going to pull it all the way down, or you may only consider using this to pull on, say, like sporting jackets or whatever, it's not necessarily going to give you that full, like, it's not going to help you produce more layers. It's going to pull all of
Okay.
that coat out at once. So it's, in my opinion, it's a great tool for us to use for people that are learning how to hand strip. So this could be the beginning of a hand strip line. So we are in the process of reaching out to different companies that have carding knives or different knives that could help produce layers. So it's more of an evolution of this hand strip line
I am
versus,
such stripping knives.
yeah.
I have a
I mean, there's so
problem.
many.
I'm a little
There's so there's so many, and there's so many that work for different people, especially when you're
Yes.
working for different breeds. Not every coat is going to be the same. I predominantly do Scotties or Sealy's, which Sealy's are pretty much the toughest coat to try to pull, versus if you're trying to look at like sometimes a wire fox, if it's not a spade coat, that coat can come right out. It's very easy. If it's a Karen, that can come right out. It's very easy. And I could just sit there with my fingers versus me with a stone or me with this knife or this knife. So,
But that type that you're describing that you currently have, it's also good for us pet groomers, because what I have
yes.
found as a pet groomer who hand strips, it is
Right.
very difficult to get them on anything approaching a schedule to get layers.
Yep.
The
Yep.
best I can do is every 4 weeks.
That's still great. That's
Which
still
is
great.
which is really good. And
That's great for a pet.
It's great
That's
for
great for a pet.
Yes. So
Yes.
that's like pinnacle. I think I have one client with 2 Brussels
Mhm.
that are on that. And
Yep.
I mean, and I still put in, I'm still a couple hours a dog
Sure.
shaping them up.
But
by the way.
But that isn't necessarily, on that kind of breed, isn't necessarily going to produce layers at 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That is going to look amazing. So if it was, it'd be different if it was coming in every week. But that's a completely different caliber of client, a completely different caliber of dog. So at that point, with these stripping tools would be great for someone like yourself, because then you're just pulling that whole layer. You're just doing it every week.
Yep.
This is going to make it,
I'm
because
just
it's
pulling the longest layer basically
Yes.
at every,
Yes.
just to keep it at a certain tightness. And
Yes.
a certain, still
Yes.
getting that.
And then you're scissoring, doing whatever. So a good clip and strip, because again, who's going to pay for that amount of time? Who wants to do all of that work? I mean, if it's a small dog like that, yeah, give me that. But it, even now, like I don't want to do it.
and I have a couple Airedales I do, and I was
Okay.
in a Zoom meeting with someone, and she was working on she was flat work. She was working on her Airedale that she shows. It looked stunning. And I'm like, yeah, I strip pet Airedales. You know what flat work is called on a pet Airedale? It's called a 5-blade. That's what it's called.
Yeah. A 5 or a 7. Yeah.
It's called a 5 or a 7. If you're lucky, I'll just strip out the ears, and that's it. The head,
right. Yeah.
Maybe I'll scissor
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Thinning shear, yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Flat work on.
It is. And that's something that has to be maintained weekly. I mean, it's a lot of discipline behind it when you do those. I think these tools are a great option for people that, because again, fame, we're going towards the everyday pet groomer. We're going for a sense of community, a sense of identity, for everyone to be included, no matter what your background is, and everyone has an opportunity to be famous. You have this option to, I want to do a live with you. I want to do a live with someone that I don't even know and interview them, and what's your grooming story and why are you doing this? And also too, for future ambassadors, we don't want them to just say, you can only use our products. No, if you want to use our tarot and you want to do a blog about it, and you are sponsored by them, and you have no loopholes that are saying, not loopholes, but you don't have any strict boundaries that you can or can't, like, and we want to pay you for your content. So more of a freelance opportunity, instead of, I need this now, and I need this, and I need you to do this. We want them to be proud and supported, just like how we should feel proud and supported with everything that makes us happy.
That's awesome. I love
Thanks.
that.
As we're talking about hand stripping tools, and I just I go off the subject.
It fit in.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm not sure how it did, but it seemed really organic.
It was my ADHD. Sorry. Yeah.
I didn't notice it all.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. We have 2 more commercials to get through, and we're going to go over time, because this was fun. So I'm going to hit another button, even though I don't think it's time to. I have no idea. It's close enough, because we're probably talking about continuing education. And speaking of continuing education, because we either were or will be, join the Andis World-Class Education Team each month for live interactive virtual classes. You'll learn new and trending styles, as well as tips and tricks from some of the best groomers in the industry. Whether you're looking for basic skills, trending styles, advanced techniques, or even just ways to spark your creativity, the new Andis Grooming Education site is your source for finding what you need to create your way for success. Try new techniques, learn from the pros, and grow your confidence today at andis.com/groomer education. Traveling Groomer Podcast listeners, hey, that's you, can get 25% off your first course today with the code VEGROOMING at checkout on andis.com/groomer education.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Of everything that you're doing right now, what would you say you're most proud of?
Making her choose between her children.
My 5 dogs and my husband. Professionally, I don't know. It's just, I'm proud of my growth that I've accomplished within less than a year of me putting myself out there, because ever since I was young and younger, any goal that I've ever had, I've always accomplished. And if it didn't work, then I look at something else and I keep going. So this trajectory that you see and me picking and then I do and then picking and then I do, I've always been like this. So now that at least, I don't want to say being recognized, like that's flattering, but the fact of that I feel like I'm being taken seriously a little bit more, that I'm being proud of, because I'm still trying to be myself as much as possible and being as honest or real. Again, many hats, but I'm proud of myself for creating better boundaries and what's making me happy and what's not, and the growth and independence and the confidence that I've been growing into from where I was when I first started in September. So I would say that's what I'm proud of, because things can come and go. Tools can come and go. Brands can come and go. I'm proud of the growth that I've been able to accomplish within such a short amount of time.
Okay, very good. I like that you mentioned that staying true to yourself while you're doing this, because I think that that's kind of important, because for newer people coming in, they look at who's ever on top at the moment and think that they
Sure.
have to be like them, and you don't have to be like anybody other than yourself.
Right. Right. And then sometimes that can be very isolating and very scary, because the more that I have put myself out there, the more isolating it has become. And I just keep going. And I just, if I'm scared, and then if it does keep scaring the shit out of me, I just keep going. I just keep going. I don't want to look back. I don't want to look back at that person and think that that isn't going to happen or that isn't going to work, because I've spent way too much time worrying about if I'm not good enough, because you're your own worst critic. And I'm still going to think those maybe insecurities later at night, but I still want to be able to accomplish things that are going to make me happy. And this, maybe the addiction to the stress kind of helps too. Do the things and constantly being busy. I'm also very appreciative of an amazing.
Stop it. That addiction to stress doesn't it doesn't exist. We don't acknowledge that.
Okay.
I mean, no, it's totally a thing, but we're pretending
Sure.
It's not a thing. Continue. Sorry.
Sure. No, but I mean, that's true. But learning about just trying to better myself, because I never want to be satisfied at all. I've always been like that. So yeah, trying to stay, it is isolating. It can be, because you just see, I don't, and then more people coming out of nowhere and asking. So then it's like, oh, the trust factor, and who should you trust? Who should you talk to? Who should you not? And I'm just trying to be aware and trying to take in any opportunity.
Oh, we will talk about that when we're not recording. But you hit on 2 or 3, because I probably forgot one in there, of my favorite things, which is when you stop learning, you start dying. Like, always learn, always strive more. And when you
Right.
say you never want to be that person who's like, oh, I can't say this and that.
Right.
You know that stupid saying that when somebody says it in the right tone, you want to punch them, like pop them in the nose. But, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's annoying, but it's right. Because I've been guilty of this, and I've had in the past, and I've had to work very hard at not doing that, and not using phrases like I can't, that won't, because when you do that, you automatically shut down the ability to succeed. Like,
Yes.
you just stop it anytime. And I run into people like that all the time. And you're like, well, you can do this. I can't because, or I can't, that won't work. That won't work. That won't. I mean, no, sometimes people will give you legitimately bad ideas. Let's be fair. Sometimes people will tell you stuff and you're like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Right.
But instead of saying, that can't, I won't, that negative, it's not going to. The language as well. That is an interesting idea. However, I have tried that in the past, or I have tried something similar enough. Or here is this other factor that we don't, that you may not know about, that will
Right.
inhibit that. So it's
Sure.
tricky. It's tricky because you don't want to be so positive. You don't,
Right.
you want to avoid toxic positivity,
Mm-hmm.
but you also don't want to shut down any avenues for success.
Absolutely. I always strive to have people that are like in an inner circle. Now, again, that inner circle could always change to different tables, or who I am or what I need at that specific time or what I know is good for me. But I always strive to have people that are around me that are doing better than I am
Mhm.
in a way of where my goal I want to be. So partnering with certain people, talking to them on a daily basis, doing this, what is good, what is going to work and what's not. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that is what, if that's my next goal of, oh, okay, I want to be better at TikToks. I want to do this. Or, oh yeah, I want to be better at the communication of using this platform of this and how to do it. Like, I didn't know how to edit through CapCut, and I made that small video with Michelle and Marcia of just an idea of us toilet time talking, just a stupid video. And they're like, okay, who wants to edit this? And I said, I've never really used it. I'll do it. And then they're like, okay, cool, here you go. And then they gave me, so that kind of opportunity of me allowing myself to fail, that I want to strive to be, if as good, if not better than them. Not in a way of like, oh, the competition, but that's what gets me going. So
All right. So you
helps me
also
push
make a
myself.
good point here of surrounding yourself with people who are basically good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have chosen every coach I have ever had. Okay.
Mhm.
I've always looked for a coach who was where I wanted to be. So if they were at where I wanted to do or what I wanted to be, that was who I wanted as a coach because I needed
Okay.
them to get me where they were.
Right. It's a stepping stone. Yeah.
They're a stepping stone.
Hmm.
So I like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Who was killing my neck, Chris?
All right.
He's
So
leaning on the zipper part of it and it's pulling on my neck. He's so not sorry.
no, he gives 0 foxes.
He looks cute.
0. 0. So Mary, speaking of growth and doing new things, do you have a new thing?
Yes, I do. I have
Ooh.
new things, but we're going to talk about this new thing. This is the Mobile Groomer's Companion Guide. All right. And what it is, yes, it goes along with the Mobile Groomer's Bible. But if you're thinking about going mobile, this is for you to do research. All right. All the things that you should take into consideration before you drop 100 grand on a vehicle.
Yes.
Very cool.
And you can get that and other books on my website, which is positiveed.com. And books are right up in the menu bar.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Nice. And next week, we're going to talk more about positive ed. Things are
Oh,
brewing.
yes. There's some
vague.
vague books.
Ooh.
Happening. Save this space because things are happening.
Very cool.
Fun things. Fun things.
All right. So, Loren, let's just go into the future. Okay.
Okay.
Where do you want to be? What direction are you thinking about? And I say thinking about going in because there's a lot of times I'll be moving in a straight line and then, oops, hang a left.
Mm-hmm.
What direction would you like to go in?
Keep going. Keep going. Wherever it goes. I'm really enjoying the branding, learning how to brand, because I like the fact of, with fame, I'm learning about branding so that this could be an opportunity for me to help other people wanting to rebrand or to brand themselves. the idea of my social media, not necessarily super managing, but creating the contact and allowing and coaching others to just better themselves in that, and to not have to physically work as hard, to just have a couple pets that I groom and then travel, just to constantly keep traveling and just go from there. So that it say, hey, oh, we want you to teach a social media thing, or come here and help record us and create content and create some reels, but we're in Australia. I'd be like, oh no, I guess I have to go to Australia. Oh no, I guess I have to go to Portugal. That's what I would like to have, a more financial freedom, opportunities that way, so that I can just be more exciting than where it already is now. So
I wish you well with that.
Yeah.
thank you.
And I definitely am looking forward to hearing you go, oh no, I have to go to Australia. Or oh
And
no, oh no, I have to go to Hong Kong now.
I
Like,
know.
I'm looking forward to that because I know that's
Me too.
definitely gonna happen. So,
Yeah.
so for now, what's the best if you're not going to be at a show, what's the best place to find some of these products you have with Colin? Because by the way, and I don't know if this is a collaboration or just a Colin, those tiny bottles,
Yes. So we do plan on having those.
they are
So those are those sassy little spray bottles.
yes.
It was through Colin Taylor, but the distributor that we found to purchase those altogether, we're in the process of talking with them. So yeah, those were really cool. Those are really
And it's
cool.
like, okay, don't get me wrong. Here's my honest review. Like, okay, well, review segment,
Mhm,
and I could go grab one because they're right over there. But
mhm.
do I have to refill them more than my traditional spray bottles? Yeah. But
Yeah.
as a house call groomer,
Mhm.
oh, I can have more product. I can
Right.
carry like 2 additional sprays or products
Right.
than I would normally have, and it take up less
Less
space.
space.
Less space.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah.
If I add, it's probably about the same space.
Right.
And it might still be less than
Mhm.
just 3 full-size bottles. It is phenomenal.
Cool. Awesome.
So, no, love having that.
Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. We plan on having that. Definitely Hershey is our next show. So we plan on having a lot. We finally got the okay on the booth. We're going to be in the same location where he was last year. And it's going to be cool.
Oh, and I like that the tops are a fairly universal size because I did break
Mhm.
one of them almost immediately, but it was total
Yeah.
user error. 100% user error. They have a locking feature
Hmm.
and it was
Hmm.
locked and I just went chunk. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
user error.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you like the product. Thank you.
Yeah, very much. All
Yeah.
right. So by the time this airs, this will be after Pet Quest. I know you said
Yes.
you're going to Pet Quest. Are
Yep.
you going to be at All American?
Yes. So I'm doing all of it. I'm doing all the shows.
Okay.
So
Rocky
yeah, I'll
Mountain.
be Super Zoo and then flying. No, I'm not doing Rocky because
Oh, okay.
I'm doing more of
Oh,
the
what? Oh,
sanctioned
wait.
shows.
You're going to be insane with me? You're doing Super Zoo and flying from Vegas to Chicago?
Mhm. Content, baby.
Nice. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to figure that out, but Southwest is pretty cheap.
Special kind
So
of crazy.
yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. You'll notice that I'm not doing that. I'm going to Super Zoo and then going home.
There you go.
whatever you do, though, I know you already know this, but for all of you out there, don't fly Spirit.
No.
Just don't no. Okay,
No.
like if I want to hop on a plane and go visit Mo and Abby, I'll fly Spirit because it's like
Right.
$90 to
Right.
If I'm flying for work where I absolutely have to be somewhere, no.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Especially if you need clothes, because I didn't get my luggage the one
Here's
time.
another travel tip
I
too.
didn't even get there. They canceled my whole flight.
Oh,
I don't I don't use those third-party booking apps at all. I book my flights directly with the carrier. Okay. And I learned my lesson, which could have been really a bad thing, but we were flying down to Atlanta, and all of a sudden, I didn't have a seat on the plane. I mean, they did get me on, but for a while there, they're like, well, if we have room, you could be on the flight.
Yeah, no, that don't work.
No, that don't work.
No.
Now,
I'm Mary Oquendo.
Some of those third-party booking sites are great if you're watching for the cheapest flight.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another tip. If I find out what the flight is on Orbitz or any of them,
then you
okay,
go
and
over.
then I'm going to call Delta and say, hey, you know what? They're most likely going to match it.
Well,
And if there's a problem, I have someone to talk to. Now, if they would have bumped me off of that flight, I would have been out of luck because I couldn't. I don't remember which airline it was. Okay. Right. Because I had no one to call at the airline because where I bought the ticket was from one of the third party apps. And I don't remember which one that was either. I would have had to take it up with them rather than the airline.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you gotta be someplace. You have to be someplace. Okay. You want to book with the carrier.
Yep.
Well, most of the time when I check on those third-party sites for the better price, and then I go over to the carrier, it's the same price. It's just, they just fluctuate. And I can get the same price and I can get better options or better bundles if I need bundles and all of that stuff. Mary, that sweatshirt does not look very ergonomically correct with him.
No, it is not. Neck is killing me. And I got birds fighting at my bird feeder right now.
Okay.
The little sparrow, like this big, okay, is king of the thing here, and all the bigger birds dare not challenge him.
Okay. Nerd animal book reference for those of you who will get it. Every time I see the little sparrow being so aggressive, I'm like, Killy! I think of King Sparrow being all like crazy. Okay. Want to say that was Redwall. But anyway. All right. We've officially digressed enough. Loren, we will see you at all the shows. Now, are you guys going to have product at Super Zoo or just All American? Like,
no,
content?
Our show, I'm just there for content. Okay. I'm just there for content. Our next show would be Hershey, and then the following one after that would be the Tacoma show. We've yet to decide on any extra stuff. He does with his conference. He does want to feature Fame, going to Worlds. He has a booth there for Colin Taylor, but he wants to feature some maybe Fame shears or something. So we might do that. So yeah, like that would be cool. But I'll be at Worlds recording content, capturing that. So yeah.
Awesome sauce. All right. Well,
thanks.
Good luck with all of your travels. I am right there with you, being absolutely.
Thank you.
And next year we'll see you at Rocky Mountain because that's now an up and coming show. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on, and safe travels, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. But now it's time to head home. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed chatting with you. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss or guests you want to see join us on this crazy road trip of ours, let us know in the Traveling Groomers Facebook page. Don't forget to thank our sponsors. And see you next week, guys. Safe travels.